Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Two Nerds in a Podcast.
Hello,
I'm
welcome.
Casey,
And I'm Jamie.
and today we are talking about the one, the only Halloween Horror Nights. Me and Jamie
Woohoo!
went, 2 weeks ago? A week ago? I don't know. A week
A
ago,
week,
I think.
yeah, a
Like a
little
little
over a
over a week
week, yeah,
ago.
because we went on a Thursday,
A
Thursday.
Thursday.
I'm
Yes.
so used to us doing stuff on Wednesdays that I forgot we did it. We
Wednesdays.
did Thursday.
Yeah, I came for like a much longer time this time.
Yes.
But yes, we went to
Hmm.
Universal. We did the 2 p.m. like day pass, and then you can stay for horror nights, and then we also did the express pass
Which
this
was
year.
so worth the money. Like so worth the
Yes,
money.
honestly, I don't we can never do
No,
Universal the
no,
same.
we're never gonna go back. We're gonna have to fork
Without
out that much money every year for that stupid pass.
Yes. It was very expensive, but it is so worth it because we did not I think the longest we waited was like 45 minutes towards the
Yeah,
end of the night,
and that was
closer to like
very
midnight.
random. Like, it was a random
Yeah,
maze that we waited that long for, which was weird.
yeah. But everything else we literally walked on and into, including the very popular anticipated mazes of the year,
Yeah,
which were The Last of Us.
and Stranger Things.
They were
Amazing.
amazing.
I also like that the express pass is both for the day portion and the night portion, so it's for all of the rides, and it's also
Yeah.
for all of the mazes. Also, which we saw that there was something about Super Mario World, but I didn't know exactly what it was because the wording was weird. But we asked somebody there from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., which is when Horror Night, the beginning of Horror Nights, we got to go into Super Nintendo World.
Mhm. Like,
Yeah,
exclusively for
so it
the
was
people
just the
pass.
people who had the 2 p.m. and Horror Night pass. So there was like, I don't know what, 30 of us in there. It was probably the least crowded it's ever been since it's opened. We didn't
Yeah, and it just opened what? Did it open this year or
It was
last
this
year?
year. I think it was in March because I thought it was around my
Oh, yeah, it was
birthday.
this year.
Or right
Yeah.
after either around my birthday or between mine and your birthdays.
Yeah, so it was like it's still not even a year old
Yeah,
yet.
and it's every person that I know that has gone into there has said it's super crowded, it's a bit claustrophobic, but it's still really cool. So we got the not crowded, not claustrophobic. We literally
Mhm.
like just walked onto the ride that's in there. We didn't have There
Yeah.
was literally the guy that was announcing, like, because they announced the wait times, and he's like, "The wait time is now no wait time."
There's no wait time. Yeah, we literally walked, like, right directly onto the ride. Like, we couldn't even really look at, like we had to, like, slow down through the
Yeah,
line,
because we were
like,
taking
walking
pictures
through the
and
line to, like,
stuff.
look at the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was nobody in
No,
there.
and it was great, and we did complete one of Casey's dreams, which was
Yes,
meeting
we got to
Toad.
meet Tom. Oh, it was the best day of my
I
life.
thought she was
I
gonna
love
have a
him.
heart attack because as soon as Toad was there, you didn't even see him when we first walked in, because like when you walk through the tunnel, he's like directly to the right. So we were distracted by everything in front of us, and then I happened to turn, and there he was, and I was like, "Oh my god, she's gonna die! She's gonna die! I'm gonna have to go
Yeah,
through all
because
these
well
mazes by myself because she's gonna die."
yeah, it was the best moment of my life. If you have the chance to meet Toad, he's literally the cutest thing ever. Maybe we can post some pictures
Yeah,
on our
for sure.
Instagram because he was adorable. It was one of my bucket list. Honestly, that was the best moment of my life. I'm not married or have kids, but that moment will top them for sure. When I do. But yeah, it was like the Super Mario World is super cool. They also have like an interactive thing,
Yeah, if you buy the little
like in
wristbands.
the yeah, so you can like buy a wristband and like play all the games like throughout there. We didn't get to go to the Toadstool Cafe because apparently you need reservations, so that'll be a next time
Yeah,
thing.
but it was
But
also
10
open,
out of
which I don't think either of us really realized. So,
yeah.
I just assumed it was going to
Um,
be closed. But honestly, this year they had pretty much everything open. I think the only stuff that was
mhm,
closed was the Minions and the Secret Life of Pets because they put the lines for certain mazes back there.
yeah.
Um, The Water World was closed, and I think that was it. But like all the restaurants and the rides were open during horror nights,
Yeah, everything else was still
which is
open.
good because if you have people in your party that are not willing to go through the mazes but they still want to go with you, or like if you're a parent that your kid wants to go but you don't and then all the other kids want to go and but they don't do scary or whatever, you have other things to do, which is really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nice. We we rode pretty much all of the
We
rides
did it.
there.
We did it all. The only thing we didn't get on was The Simpsons, and that's because I'm old and I didn't want to be broken.
But yeah, we went on like every ride. We pretty much walked on with the express
Yeah.
pass.
So I think the shortest line was definitely Super Mario World during Horror Nights, but for the regular park hours, I think the longest we waited was like 10 minutes, and I think that was for Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. And
Oh yeah.
honestly, about 5 of those minutes is walking to the front.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you are thinking, should I get the express
Just do it.
pass? You should do it because so like especially getting closer if you are planning on going like later
Oh,
in the
for
night because
sure.
I know it gets like crowded later on, but um because I think because at one point I looked in the Stranger Things and like The Last of Us were like 180
Yeah,
minutes or
and that was
something
their
for like the
average.
regular
Yeah,
standing.
that was their
Yeah.
average pretty much, I would say, after 8 p.m.
Yeah, that's about what you're gonna wait in
Yeah.
line. Especially like this year. Well, I mean, I'm obviously Halloween Horror Nights is over,
Yes.
but this year they had so many good
And they had a lot
mazes that
more
like
mazes too. Like, there's
yeah,
just a
they had a
lot of
lot more
them. It was
mazes.
crazy.
And so if you get the express pass, then you can definitely do all of
Yeah.
them. If you do the regular just day or like Halloween Horror Nights, you're gonna have to pick which ones you want
Yeah.
to want to go
Yeah.
through because you're gonna be waiting a long
And
time.
if you ever wanna do
But
any of, like, their
yeah,
main headliner mazes and you don't do the express pass, do those first. Get there as soon as you
yes, do
can,
those first.
soon as they let you
Mhm.
in, and get in that line because those lines get super atrocious, especially like, I know it's really cool to, like, show up at, like, 11 p.m. at night for all you crazy youngins out there, but it's honestly a better experience if you go early. And if you do what Casey and I do, we do this once a year, probably forever. Um, it's
Yes.
definitely it's one of those we'll never be able to go back to regular lines ever. Unless
No,
we just don't
honestly
care about the mazes that they have that year, but most of the time there's at least one maze that we're dying to go through. So
Mhm.
also it was just a lot more fun because like most of our time, like I couldn't figure out why I felt tired, but my body didn't feel tired like it did last year, and
Yeah.
that's because we were
Mhm.
literally walking, from line
Yeah,
to line to
we weren't
line.
standing for hours and hours and
Yeah, there was
hours,
no
yeah.
standing, there was no, "Oh my god, my knees hurt," because we've been standing in this concrete line for about 3,000 years. It definitely makes a world of difference, and I had a lot more
It really
fun.
does.
Like,
Yeah, because we were there, like, I don't know, what time did we end up leaving?
I feel like it was maybe a little bit I thought it was like I thought it when we started shopping at the end of the night, I thought it was around, like, 11, so we probably
Oh, it had to have been, like, 11 or
yeah, we were
11:30-ish.
out
So
of
we
there
were
by
there for
midnight.
a yeah, so we were there for what is that, 8 hours? Oh, no, I don't
Like,
know. Don't I'm
9-ish,
actually bad at math.
9, 10-ish
Like 9-ish.
hours.
Yeah, and, yeah, my feet did not hurt, like, at
Yeah,
all the next
neither did
day.
mine.
Um, we were just like, at one point, we had to, like, stop and be like, "Okay,
Yeah,
we need
we're like,
to,
"We need
like,
to chill out
re"
because, like, we don't need to
we're
rush
like,
this
"Go, go, go,
bad."
go."
We're so used to
Yeah.
having to, like, basically sprint to each maze just to have a slightly shorter wait time. But we didn't
Yeah.
have to do that this time. We were able to just kind of cruise around and do a little bit of shopping, go through the scare zones, see what kind of
Mhm,
snacks they had and stuff. So it was definitely not a rushed trip, which I think is
mhm.
partially why spending the extra money is worth it. We also went the week before Halloween, which is the most
Yeah.
expensive week besides actual Halloween to go. So if you like get on it, the only reason we did that this year was because FNAF came out Friday. So we wanted to do both together because we both wanted to go to theaters for FNAF. So like next year we could definitely do this at like the beginning of October or even
Oh,
closer to
yeah.
the middle of October. We can find whatever the cheapest days are and go those days. Um but we went closer to Halloween,
But it's nice though because the merch is
all
all the merch
discounted.
was 30%
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, it was great.
So that was a good thing.
Um, but so if you're looking to save some money but still do the express pass, do it earlier in October. Don't wait till Halloween.
So we went last year, and the theme last year was the weekend,
Yeah, which is kind of lame.
which which was kind of lame. There was a few like good mazes, but this year they absolutely
Oh
destroyed
my
it with
gosh, yeah.
mazes.
All of
Like
them were so good.
absolutely. Yeah, so obviously we were looking forward to The Last of Us and
Stranger
Stranger
Things.
Things,
Hmm.
which were, if you've never been to a Halloween Horror Nights, Universal is the place to go because they are the movie capital,
Yeah.
obviously. So when you're walking through these mazes, it feels like you're in the show or the
Yeah, they're
movie.
literally like sets. They're just
Yeah,
so detailed and so amazing.
yeah.
Um
And like they built like the Stranger Things, like when you first walk in, you go through like Eddie's like they built the whole trailer
yeah, and
like in the
the
first
Stranger
part.
Things one in particular is inside of a sound stage, so it's huge.
Mhm. Yeah. It's huge and it's so well done. They do such a good job, and then like the straight like the or not the Stranger Things, The Last of
Mhm.
Us. Oh, so
That one
cool.
was
I
really
like
cool.
felt like I was there.
Yeah. This year too, they had a lot of stuff to do with scent. So they had certain scents pumped in a
Oh,
certain
yeah.
so we went through, they had a holiday themed one. So like each
Mhm.
section was a different holiday. So Christmas smelled like cookies and Halloween smelled like candy and then 4th of July smelled like fireworks. Uh
Yeah, there was some other mazes too where, like I don't remember which one it was, but I know there was, like, a there were we were in, like, a barn-ish
mhm.
area, and it smelled
It
like
smelled like a
the inside of a
barn.
barn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. They do such a good job at, like, making you feel like you're actually in
Yeah.
it, and it's it's so much fun. It's, like, my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, we had a ton of fun this year. I know a lot of people kept asking if it was crowded, but since we did the express pass this year, I couldn't really tell because we didn't wait for
Yeah.
anything really. Um, but you can still tell that like after I would say probably what 9 or 10 p.m.
Mhm.
Everybody else started showing up because we got stuck in the lower lot for the Universal Classic Movie Monsters maze they had down there next to Chucky. And that was one of those ones I didn't expect us to be in line for that long. And that was the
Yeah.
longest line we were in. Longer than Last of
Mhm.
Us, longer than Stranger Things, and even longer than Chucky. Chucky, we were there for a good chunk
Yeah.
too. So,
Yeah, that one it was so random too, and it was, like, the longest one.
yeah,
But, like, I think that if you're gonna do Universal well, we love
we
Universal,
do.
but the 2 PM pass, I think, is the way to
Yeah.
go. If you don't even if you don't do the express pass because, like,
Cause for you guys, the
we
mazes
started
open at 5:30. So, like,
yeah, and so you can get in line
early.
early to, like, get into
Yeah.
there because, like, it's like with the Stranger Things one, like you said, it's in a sound stage, so it doesn't matter if it's dark or not, like, most of them are
Yeah.
inside, so it's not gonna matter if it's dark. The only one that, like, you should
Is the
wait, which I
tram.
don't even think it opens, is the tram. I
Yeah.
don't think that one opens until, like, 7
Yeah. Yeah.
anyways, but yeah, so even if it's, like, 5 and you get, like, the 2 PM pass, like, jump in that line.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cause Stranger Things open at 5:30, Last of Us open at 5:45. So basically the lower lot, they opened first, which was great because we ended up staying in the lower lot for the most part towards the end of the day. And then they opened the upper lot. So by the time we actually went to the upper lot, everything was already open. Yeah, so that was really great.
Yeah. One point, because we were, like, moving through lines so
Mhm.
quickly because, like, a lot of the mazes were, like, offset time, so, like you said, like, Stranger Things
Yeah.
5:30, Last of Us 5:45. Because we, like, went through the mazes so quickly, there was points where we're like, "We still have to wait until, like,
Yeah.
the time to even go to this
Yeah,
maze."
because we got in line for Stranger Things, and then I was like, "Oh, well, we can just jump in line for The Last of Us," and then they had somebody famous came through the Stranger Things line, so they had to like do this whole they did a whole like film photography thing. So that delayed our time because we we kept checking the times to see which maze is open when. And Casey was like, "It says Stranger Things is closed, but they're not even open yet." So I don't know what the deal with that is. And it's because there was somebody doing some PR
Yeah, they had to let
thing.
that one person get first, yeah.
So I don't know why they couldn't do it before we all got in line, but whatever, that's just me.
It's fine. It's fine.
But I was like, "Oh, maybe we should have gotten in line for The Last of Us because that was my concern because there was a Stranger Things a few years back. So the
Mhm.
newest draw was The Last of Us and because of the show and the game, everybody's super excited. So I was like, "Oh, maybe we should have done that first."
Mhm.
But by the time we got out of Stranger Things, The Last of Us wasn't even open yet, so we we still got in
Yeah,
line when
yeah,
it was closed, so it was fine.
yeah. We were still just chilling. The tram
Yes.
run, I think, is
Oh,
always
yeah.
cool. This year, it was, like, a bug themed, so it was, like, bugs
Mhm.
killing people and bugs are
Yep.
taking over the world
Mhm.
type of thing, but it's really cool because you get to go through they drop you off, like,
At the Bates
right before you
Motel.
like yeah, so you get to walk through, like, the Bates Motel, um, like,
Yeah.
hotel part, and then you walk up to the house, and then, you get to walk through, like, the War of the Worlds,
That's always my
like,
favorite part.
crash site. Yeah, and my favorite is the Jupiter's
Uh,
Claim. That one is
yeah,
so
that's really
cool.
cool too.
Yeah, because you get to walk through the Jupiter's Claim little theme park from the
Yeah.
movie Nope, and then they had, like, people from that movie and then people from the
Yeah.
movie Us in there, which is super cool, so that one is really cool, and that one's nice too because there's not really ever a
Yeah,
wait
it's just
for
a
it
constant
usually
stream of
because they
people.
just drop you off. Yeah, it just drops you off and you just walk through, so that one's cool. There's not usually a wait, and, the I got a couple of good scares out of that
Yeah,
one for
yeah.
sure.
Casey Casey got snuck up on a couple of times, which was pretty great. One of
Yeah.
them, I was surprised when we were going through Jupiter's Claim because, I actually this is the tram is the only one that we walked through that I didn't have to hold Casey's hand. I was very proud. I'm very proud. So we ended up like walking like around something separately, and so I saw the one guy. He was behind like this sign thing in the middle, and he scared the girl in front of me, and then turned over to the side that Casey was on and scared somebody else. But then Casey was like, "Oh my god, I've lost Jamie. I gotta go find her." And so she came running. I think that was what got you is because
Yeah.
you came running over to catch up because I was ahead, and he jumped out right at her. So
Yeah.
you'll see it in the vlog that we post somewhere. But she's literally you can see me and you can see that she's coming for me, and then all of a sudden the camera like
Just starts
shakes and she just goes.
Yeah.
It was so funny because I had no idea until she screamed and I turned around and the guy was going back to scream somebody else. I'm like, "Ha! They got you and not me."
Yeah, yeah, I'm a screamer, so when I get scared, well, not really scream, but I just kind of like like a high pitched scream.
Yeah,
Um,
a noise comes out when she
yeah,
gets scared
a noise comes out, and, the
or startled, I should say. It's not really scary.
yeah, yeah, because like, at one point in the tram, one of the, like, bug dudes came up behind me,
Oh, yeah, that
and I,
was funny.
like, growled in my ear, scared the crap out of me. But yeah, there was, I got some good scares, so it's good.
But yeah, I think and the poster design for the tram this year was really cool,
Mhm.
like on the merch and stuff for the Terror Tram. Casey ended up getting a poster, but they did. They really upped their game this year. I
Yeah.
think everybody was just so excited for all the stuff they had slated for all the mazes this year. So you could really tell that the people who worked on it were very excited. The scare actors that were there were really excited to be there, and that all of us were ready to enjoy Horror Nights.
Yes. Yeah, it was they definitely compared to last year's theme, because I honestly don't even really remember the other mazes except for, like, the weekend. Like, when we didn't even go through the weekend maze
No, we
last
just went to the bar.
yeah.
The one I remember from last year was the hotel one,
Oh, yeah, yeah, there was
which
that
is
the
where
haunted
the Evil
hotel.
Dead was this year. And I really only remember it because the setup is obviously the same. You can only
Yeah.
do so much with a building that's permanently there.
Yeah.
Um, but I only remember that one. Although this year and last year, I'm gonna say was probably about the same for the amount of people they shoved through the maze.
Yeah.
Which can be kind of like meh because that kind of ruins the experience
Yeah,
because
especially
there's
because,
so
like, at some
many
points, we
people.
were just, like, stopped in, like, a section of the maze, and then you just have to listen to, like, the same voice line over and over and over and
Oh,
over and over
yeah.
again. Yeah, but, um, yeah, because there's just so many people that show up to, like, horror nights,
Yeah, for sure.
but definitely a 10 out of 10 experience. I think that we will never be able to buy normal passes again.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And because Casey doesn't live in California anymore and I have a Disneyland pass this year, we both haven't been to Universal since last year.
Mhm.
So, it was really nice to do the Universal trip. But I
Yeah.
mean, I guess if we ever go like often enough or whatever, we don't have to do the day pass, but both you and I really like doing that because it's fun.
Yeah, because we both love Universal so much, and there personally, now people of the internet can bash me for my opinion, but I think Universal is like the best theme park because there's so much to do for everybody there.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
even like just like there's shows, there's little roller coasters, there's fast roller coasters. So that's just my opinion.
Water rides.
Yeah, there's water rides, which if it's hot, it's fun.
Yeah,
But we did not want to get wet, so we wore a
yeah.
poncho.
I bought little cheapy ponchos from Walmart for $2, and we were putting them on in line, and Casey's like, "We're the only weebs with ponchos on." And I turned around, and the people behind us were putting their ponchos on, and I said, "See, we're not the only weebs."
But honestly, they was worth it because we were completely dry and we were in the front row, the very
Yeah.
front.
Yeah, the guy was like, "Are you guys okay with the front row?" And I said, "Yeah." And immediately the second it left my mouth, I was like, I should not have agreed to the front row because I mean, it's fun being in the front row, but I also hate the front row cuz you get the most wet, but also you get to
Mhm.
go down the drop first and I hate that. So, I agreed and I signed my own death paper there with that. Also, Casey sat on the side that had the most animatronics in the water.
Yes, I love
So
that.
it was funny because we were the only two people in the front row. They didn't even bother to see anybody else with us.
Yeah, they're like, "You guys get it all to yourself. Here you
Yeah,
go."
and we went, yeah, but we didn't have to sit on the sides, which was my concern because if you sit on the side, you get soaked no matter
Oh, yeah.
what. But yeah, so we had the ponchos on and we stayed dried, which was great. I think a little bit of my dress, the back of my dress was wet. Um, and then Casey didn't put hers over her lap, so her lap was wet.
But everything
Um,
else, my hair, my makeup was dry, so if you
yeah,
wanna go
the
on Jurassic
makeup was
World
my concern, so
yeah, if you wanna go to Jurassic World, make sure you bring a poncho
yes.
because it's fun. but
And buy the ones from Walmart in the camping section for $2, or if you're going with a group, they have the big 10-pack you can buy, because if you buy them at Universal,
yeah, they're
they're
like
much
totally
more, they're at least, I think the cheap throwaway ones are probably at least $8.
yeah.
And then if you want the reusable one that says Universal, I think that's like 16 or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
Um,
Universal, yeah,
and they
that's a good
have
idea.
they have a nice big trash can where you can throw it away if you don't want to hang on to it. So we got off and we threw the poncho away and we moved on with our day, and it was
Yeah,
great.
we weren't miserable, so it was wonderful. Because we went closer towards, like, when because our plan was just hang out in the well, maybe it was, like it had to have been, like, 3 or 4, so it was, like, getting closer
Yeah,
to nighttime-ish,
yeah,
afternoon.
because we ended up doing the stuff up top first. So we did Minions and Secret Life of Pets. We didn't go see Waterworld, but that's okay.
It's
Um,
okay, we've seen it a million times, so
Yeah, it's fine. And we didn't do the tram either because obviously we were going to do the tram during horror nights.
mhm.
So we didn't need to go during the day. But so we just did those two things and then we made our way downstairs
Oh,
and
and
we
Harry
did Jurassic.
Potter too in the
Oh,
morning.
yes, we did both Harry Potter rides, which is great. And then we made our way downstairs. So yeah, it was probably like 4 in the
Mhm.
afternoon by then cuz we didn't get there until into the park until like 2:30. Um so yeah, it was probably like 4:30, 5 o'clock ish.
Yeah,
But it was before the time change, so the sun was still out, which was nice.
yes, yeah,
Um,
um, yeah,
and
and
the
it
day
wasn't
we went, the weather was really nice,
yeah,
so it wasn't freezing, it wasn't cold. It was a little breezy, but not too bad, which is why I still have this stupid cold. I'm gonna blame it. Somebody at Horror Nights had a cold, and it mixed with my allergies, and I'm just not having a good time. We dried off pretty fast. We went on the
yeah.
Mummy right after, which is fast, so we were pretty dry. It's one of the reasons I miss Backdraft, because you would used to be able to go on Jurassic Park, get soaked, and then go into Backdraft, and they'd have all the fire effects, and then you'd be dry, and it'd be great. Now we just go on the Mummy.
Now we just go on the Mummy, which is so fun, and everybody always looks at me and Jamie like we're crazy people, like we're crazy weebs on the Mummy because we've been on it so many times
We
that
know the script.
we know the
We know the
script and we
script.
know when it shoots like, when it launches you, and we know all of it.
Yeah, it was so funny because we got sat next to, I think it was a pair of sisters, and the little girl was probably, I don't know, maybe like 9, somewhere around there. And I only assume it's her sister because she turned to her and said, "Don't scream really loud." I don't know why. Um, that's such a dumb thing to say to anybody on a roller coaster, but whatever. And so the little sister's like, "Oh, okay." And so I turn to her and I go, "Scream really loud because I'm gonna scream really loud." And she went, "Okay." And then, we took off and Casey and I recite the thing and then we take off and we scream and I laugh like a hyena the whole time because it's just so much fun. I love that ride.
Yeah,
Um,
that ride is a classic. It's so much fun, and it's short, but
yes.
and the line's usually never long, ever, really, for that
Yeah.
one,
I think
but it's
the
so fun.
longest I've ever seen it is like an hour.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like it moves pretty quickly, so
Yeah. It's just a constant. It's kind of like Indiana Jones where it's just a constant on and off, on and off, on and
mhm.
off. Except the Mummy doesn't ever really break down. There's no like technology to it really besides standard roller coaster stuff, so it's not like Transformers where they've got screens and stuff that they have to that could, go off or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, The Mummy is always a good one. That's always a must ride.
Yeah, you can't go to Universal and not ride the Mummy.
Yeah,
That's no. It's not allowed.
not allowed.
um this year, well, okay, so we walked by Super Nintendo World and it said all of the reservations for the cafe were filled for the day. So, this year for our snack, which I don't think I've ever had a corn dog from Universal, but we went to the little corn dog stand that's right next to the Mummy, and they were delicious. We both got a
Yes.
corn dog. I had to get the Last of Us themed corn dog because it's the Last of Us themed corn dog. Um, and it was really good. It was nice and crunchy. The only thing, my only qualm was that it didn't come off the stick very nicely, so I
No,
couldn't push it up
and the stick
on the
was
stick.
very long.
It was long and it was pointed, which I get for frying purposes, but it didn't wanna come off the stick, and, I had we both had black lipstick on, so we were in no place to eat like a heathen, so, we just struggle bust through the corn dog. Casey had you had the what was it? Was it a
The
veggie dog?
vegetarian corn dog, mhm.
Yeah, which,
Yeah, it was good.
it looked and smelled really good, so,
Yeah, it was
also,
massive.
the french fries from that place are amazing. They remind me of Del Taco french fries. Ugh, chef kiss,
Yeah,
delicious.
because 'cause they're, like, the crinkle cut, delicious.
And they're crispy. The only bad
Deliciousness.
thing, they didn't have any ketchup.
Yeah, they didn't have any ketchup, I was so sad, I was like, "This would've hit so much better with ketchup."
So
But,
good.
yeah, next time we're gonna definitely have to try some of the, like, Mario or, like, the Super Mario World
Oh,
snacks.
for sure.
I got the little, mushroom reusable cup,
Mhm,
refillable cup,
mhm.
which, you know, was $20 and
Yeah.
it's very small, but,
At least the
you know.
refills were cheap, though.
Yeah, it's like a dollar something for refill for the same day, so, like, it's
Yeah.
worth it because you can, like, refill it, um, and I was like, "I'm very thirsty." We were running around like maniacs all
Yeah.
day.
Because 'Cause we're used to having to go, 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 but we didn't
Yeah.
have to do that this year, but that's just our normal speed when we do stuff like this.
Yeah. We're like, because like, normally when you go to I mean, any amusement park, you try and fit in as much as you can into the
Yeah.
day,
Mhm.
but with the express pass, like, we did everything, and
Yeah.
we left early,
Yeah.
so
The only thing we didn't do was the we call it the Mexican maze. It was based on some Mexican horror story. I don't know if it was La Llorona or not, but, that was the only maze we didn't go through,
Mhm.
and that's because we didn't really care. We
Yeah,
went through Evil Dead, and then we rocketed off somewhere else, and I was like, "Oh, we didn't do that one," but it was fine.
yeah. Yeah, that one was, the only one we didn't do, but, yeah, everything else was we got through and we did it and we left at a decent time and we got to sleep and it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it was great. Um, what do you think was the scariest maze?
Um, hmm. I mean, I thought that the to me, I thought the Evil Dead was the scariest maze,
Same,
but
same.
that's because I'm pretty sure I got, like, jump scared a few times in there.
Yeah, and because The Evil Dead, they didn't necessarily have a lot of scare actors in there. They had a lot of like moving statues. So, like with something that's not somebody in makeup, you can make it a lot more crazy and creepy looking. So for me, it was really like bleh. Um but it wasn't necessarily the most jump scarish one, but they did get you pretty good.
Yeah, and they like, the Evil Dead so they based it off of the new Evil Dead, The Evil Dead Rise, and if you haven't seen it, it's very gory and very gross.
Mhm.
It's, like, super gross, and they, like, translated that super well. I
Mhm.
remember when they did I think it was I wanna say it was 2013 is when the Evil Dead original remake came out,
Uh-huh.
and they did it that year, and I remember being like, "This is so cool because it feels like I'm in the movie." Like, there was one because there's a scene in the movie where she's, like, cutting her tongue, and they had a
Oh.
scare actor with, like, a fake tongue doing that, and I was like, "This is
Oh.
disgusting so much." Like, I feel like I'm in the movie, and that is just the best part of Universal, but I would say
Yeah,
my favorite maze was it's such a
it's so
toss-up between
hard.
The Last of Us and
Yeah.
Stranger Things because I
Oh, for
love them
sure.
both so much.
Mhm.
Um, I would have to say probably The Last of Us, though.
I would say that too. I really like through all their mazes, all the scenes they picked for each
Mhm.
maze, especially if
Yeah.
it was based off of something, they picked scenes that were like didn't necessarily require a whole lot, but the just the set dressing and the certain actors they had in there definitely super effective. The only thing I wish for The Last of Us, I wish they would have put more clicker noises. and
Yeah.
made them like, some really soft and some really loud to make it
Yeah,
feel
because
like there's clickers everywhere kinda thing.
the clicker noises are the scariest part of the game in the
Mhm.
show, so,
Mhm.
yeah, they definitely should have added more clicker noises, but they had, like, the, like didn't they have, like, the big bloater guy in there too?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. Because basically they kind of went off of the basement level of The Last of Us, which is the scariest and the hardest level in the
Yeah.
game. When I saw that we were in Pittsburgh and that we were going, quote unquote, towards the basement, I was like,
Yeah.
no,
No!
this part's
Please
so
don't make me.
scary. Um, but it was great, and I like because for Joel and Ellie, they had actors. I think they only had them like a couple here and a couple there. They didn't have them constantly, but they had their voices constantly. So even if you didn't see them, you'd hear them talking back and forth to each other, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really, really cool. 10 out of 10. This year was so great.
It
10
was
out
so
of 10
good.
recommend.
Yeah. And they had a lot of like their I feel like their key Universal horror movies. Like they had The Exorcist because
Mhm.
a new movie just came out for that. They had Chucky because there was a new season for that. They had Stranger Things, The Last of Us. They had their classic movie monsters. I feel like the holiday one was definitely an original creation that they did, which
Mhm.
was really cool.
That was cool. I
Um,
like that one because, like, it was nice because you could know when you're at the end of the maze.
yeah, the leprechauns in that maze were pretty creepy. Also, we got a churro at one point, and I'm telling you right now, if you've never had a churro at any amusement park, get a churro. It always hits so good. And I know
Yes.
they're expensive. It's like $8 for a churro, but it's delicious.
Also, if you want snacks from Universal, which we learned, like, specialty snacks, like a
Mhm.
cookie, go
Shaped
earlier.
like a knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, go
'Cause
there first.
we tried to get one at, like it was, like, 10 like, or 10 or 11, and they were sold out, so
Yeah, it was disappointing. Which luckily we were gonna get the cookie and the churro, so we didn't stand in line for nothing, but
yeah, we
I
still
was
got a
still
churro. It's great.
disappointed because I feel like cookies are the easiest thing to make about 5 billion of,
Yeah.
especially because it's not even Halloween yet, so I feel like you should stock up on that
Yeah.
because you can always sell them later. I mean, I'm pretty sure people would buy stuff at Universal, a cookie from Universal for 50% off just because it was shaped like a knife.
Yeah. Honestly. I mean, I know I would, shoot.
Yeah. They had a lot of specialty popcorn holders this
Mhm.
year. Like they had a Chucky one that talked. They had a really cute, which I almost bought, but I don't need a freaking popcorn container at all. But there was one in the shape of Frankenstein, and Frankenstein. I know it's Frankenstein's monster. For anybody who's out there going, it's not his name's not Frankenstein. Remember, I know it's Frankenstein's monster, but everybody calls him Frankenstein, so I'm gonna call him Frankenstein. Okay. But they had one in the shape of him. They had a lot of Frankenstein merch, and it took every ounce of willpower not to buy it because
Yeah.
I didn't need I was already buying a Last of Us sweatshirt and a whole bunch of other junk. I really didn't need more t-shirts or hats or anything else that I do not need to wear. Um, and then obviously Super Mario had all their cute cups. And they also had a really cute they have the star popcorn bucket, which is cute. That was 35.
Yeah, I think so, and then yeah, because they had the Chucky one, which talked,
Yeah.
and that was 40.
Yeah, and I was like, no. But the Super Mario one lights up, which was cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
let's see. They had a lot of which made me really happy. Hellfire Club merch,
Mhm.
which surprisingly is not easy to find at like Hot Topic or like the usual. I mean, you can get the T-shirt anywhere, but I collect like patches and pins and stuff, and I can't find that stuff anywhere, which is so weird. So Universal had a lot of that, which was great.
Yeah, they had a lot of really cool merch this year. Um, like, their design the one of the posters I got is, like, really cool. It's, like, the main mazes, and it's got, like, a little picture, and it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's very cool.
Yeah, everything was very kind of, I want to say tarot card ish, slash Ouija board ish kind of
Yeah.
design this year, which I thought was really cool. It was pretty but spooky, but not too pretty that like most guys wouldn't wear it kind of thing.
Yeah, it was they had really good just overall this year, I think was just one of the best, like, horror night themes that they've had just because they
Oh
had so
yeah.
many good things.
Hmm.
Because 'cause we've been a couple times,
Hmm.
and I think this one was definitely the best year.
Yeah, the first year we went was really cool because that's when the first Stranger Things maze was
Mhm.
there, so that was really awesome to see. Um, Last year was just kind of a dud because I think because of COVID and all that stuff got delayed, and so it got pushed either too close or not close enough for it to be in Horror Nights. Like, I know there was rumor going around that The Last of Us was supposed to be there last year, but the show came out too late for it to
Mhm.
be in last year. Same thing with Stranger Things, came out too late to be in last year. So this year, definitely they had some catching up to do, and it was the more mazes to go through, more things to see. They had a lot of people on stilts in the scare zone this year, so that
Yeah,
was really cool.
the plague doctor, that was cool.
Yeah.
Next year, we're hoping that they do a FNAF maze because we would love that.
Yes, we love
We
FNAF.
want a FNAF maze, please, Universal.
Yeah. Also, I don't know what the deal is, but all the celebrities that Casey and I love went to Horror Nights before we went to Horror Nights, which I think is weird. I feel like most celebs would either go when it first opens, which Gabriel Luna, who plays Tommy in The Last of Us, he did go like the opening week. Or I would think they would go the week up before Halloween, which is when we went. But Pedro was there like what, a few days before us,
Mhm.
and then I think Josh Hutcherson was there, I wanna say before us as well, or maybe right after us.
I think it was after us.
Um, so yeah, everybody's just showing up before or after, so I don't know why they didn't get the message that we were gonna be there, so they had to be there because that would've been better.
Yeah, but I think that was everything. I think we nailed
Yeah,
the
yeah.
experience.
So
So
we paid about $400 for this Combo Lombo Express ticket. Like I said, if you wanna try it, do it earlier in the
hmm,
month. Do it on a weekday because weekdays are always cheaper.
yes.
Parking was actually not that bad because, again, we got there around 2 o'clock. So there's not really many people coming in or out of the park at that time. So parking was good. Um, I thought it was interesting. Disneyland and Universal, their parking is the same now, same
Mhm.
price. Um,
Fun.
Universal back in the day, I'm pretty sure at one point was like $10 when we started going. And then I remember it was stuck at 15 for the longest time, and then they slowly crept up dollar by dollar by dollar by dollar. That's the only thing that kind of sucks is that we had to pay for parking. I normally have a pass, so we normally get free parking because I normally get the pass that has that included, but I don't have a pass this year, so
No, but, it's still worth it. It's still worth it. All of the money we paid
oh
was
yeah.
worth it.
Oh yeah, just at time alone, it was worth it. Especially
Mhm.
so if you're going, I would say 2 weeks and beyond before Halloween.